A number of times during the course of the last several billion years, the Earth has been hit by asteroids, collided with other planets, and frozen, and it has also been frozen over. Not to mention the fact that it is governed by a wide variety of bizarre life forms. There are moments when it comes as a surprise that our blue homeworld has managed to survive at all. However, if we want to take a whirlwind tour of the history of our planet, we will have to begin our journey all the way back at the beginning to begin with. Approximately 4.5 billion years ago, our solar system started to form from a dense cloud of gas and dust that was present in the interstellar space. This cloud eventually disintegrated into a whirling disk of matter that continued to heat up until hydrogen was able to combine into helium. And in the same instant, our sun came into existence. As well as that, the baby Earth was on its way. Following the birth of our star, all of the stuff that was located on the most distant extremities of the spinning disk started to come together and form clumps. In our solar system, these clusters would be the seedlings that would eventually grow into the planets and moons. They became larger and more spherical as they absorbed more stuff, which caused them to grow. It was primarily composed of ice, liquids, and gases that the clumps that were found in the coldest areas of the solar system were. Mars and Earth are examples of inner planets that were produced by all of the rocky material that was closer to the Sun. When it came to volcanic activity, this young Earth was more active than ever before. A variety of gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen sulfide, were released by it. The very first atmosphere on our planet was composed of these gases before any other. The early Earth was subjected to a steady barrage of assaults from massive comets and asteroids. Moreover, not long after that, Earth was subjected to an even more intense collision. The planet Theia, which is on par with Mars in terms of size, collided with our infant globe. In the aftermath of this tremendous collision, bits of materials were scattered all about the orbit of the Earth, and then gravity brought them together to form what we now refer to as the Moon. In this early, scorching Earth, there were no oceans to be found either. All water was in the form of a gas. The temperature of our planet, however, dropped to a point where water could condense and turn into a liquid 3.8 billion years ago. A water world was created when the very first primordial ocean engulfed our infant Earth and turned it into a water world. When it comes to the creation of living beings, water is an indispensable component. Therefore, roughly 3.7 billion years ago, life began to emerge on Earth as a result of all that water. These first forms of life were organisms that were on a microscopic scale. On the other hand, it wasn't until almost a billion years after that certain organisms altered the path that the Earth would take. However, Earth did not remain a water world for a very long time. The very first continents began to form from the ocean that existed in the distant past. They are referred to as cratons by scientists. In the course of the process of land rising from the water, the very first supercontinent emerged on the surface of the globe. There was no such thing as a supercontinent in Valbara. The size was not very large. There is a consensus among scientists that it was smaller than the Australia continent. It was around 2.4 billion years ago when cyanobacteria underwent evolution to become the first photosynthesizers on our planet. Last but not least, we had some oxygen manufacturers, which made the atmosphere of the Earth far more friendly. The rest, as they say, is history, folks. The joke is on me. We still have a significant distance to travel. Because of all of this fresh oxygen, the levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of the Earth were significantly lower. As a result, the temperature of the planet became extremely low. During the first ice age on Earth, a significant portion of our young world became frozen over. At the same time that the atmosphere of the Earth was shifting, the continents as well were shifting. After disintegrating, they reformed as the subsequent supercontinent, which was called Rodinia. There was a real supercontinent known as Rodinia. There is a possibility that it was the largest supercontinent that ever covered the entire Earth. As for life, I suppose that life has finally become more complicated. On the other hand, something occurred. A new supercontinent was formed as a result of the disintegration of Rodinia. This particular one was known as Pannotia. After that, there was a surge of new life that occurred sometime between 540 and 485 million years ago. Cambrian explosion was the name given to this period of time. In addition, the animals that originated during this time period had hard elements of their bodies, such as spines or shells. Of all the trilobites, the ones that looked like aliens were the most well known. There was an abrupt change in the climate that occurred approximately 440 million years ago, and the temperature of the water underwent a significant shift. There was the first instance of a mass extinction on Earth. The Ordovician-Silurian extinction time period was this one. In addition, the vast bulk of the life that had been dispersing throughout the Earth stopped existing. A significant number of these life forms were responsible for laying the groundwork for the ecosystems that exist on Earth today. In the time period ranging from 420 million to 350 million years ago, the first trees sprang from the soil of the Earth. In addition, the first animals traveled to the land and arrived there. Pangaea, the planet's final and largest supercontinent, overshadowed the entire planet approximately 250 million years ago. Unfortunately, it was also at this time period that the planet Earth saw the most catastrophic mass extinction event in the history of our planet: the Great Death itself. About 90% of all species on Earth have been eradicated as a result of vast quantities of greenhouse gases and the acceleration of global warming. Nevertheless, this widespread extinction was instrumental in paving the way for the subsequent surge of animal evolution. The first dinosaurs, which lived between 240 and 230 million years ago, arrived. In the subsequent 150 million years, they would be in control of the continent. And if you had been there, you would have seen the enormous sauropod Argentinosaurus, which holds the record for being the largest terrestrial animal ever. It's also possible that you were being pursued by the Tyrannosaurus rex, which is considered to be one of the most dangerous apex predators on Earth. Additionally, you would be able to observe the fragmentation of Pangaea, which would result in the formation of the continents that we are familiar with today. It's possible that you already have an idea of where this is going. An asteroid struck into our planet 65 million years ago, precisely in the location where Mexico is located today. Moreover, it expelled such a large quantity of debris into the atmosphere that it obscured the view of the sun. This led to catastrophic changes in the climate, which ultimately resulted in the extinction of dinosaurs. Mammals went on to become more prevalent in the subsequent wave of newly emerging creatures. It is estimated that the first humans to walk this earth began their journey approximately 6 million years ago. The Sahelanthropus was the name given to this species. It is quite likely that they continued to walk on all fours. The first upright walking by humans occurred approximately 4 million years ago. And approximately 1 million years after that, they would create the first tools that are known to exist, which they would also use to break things. The sparks began to fly some 800,000 years ago. These early people were able to prepare food and provide themselves with heat because they learned how to regulate fire and learned how to use it. Their brains continued to develop, moving at a rate that was faster than ever before. These human beings discovered whole new methods to engage with one another and with the world around them during their lives. After that, with the exception of Homo sapiens, every other type of human that existed between 40,000 and 15,000 years ago became extinct. More than 10,000 years ago, the first farmers appeared on Earth. These humans, who had previously been nomadic, finally settled down and ceased wandering about the world before they settled down. The Industrial Revolution occurred approximately 250 years ago, which is a significant amount of time in the past. The technological, economical, and cultural landscapes underwent significant shifts during this time period. In the course of time, rural, agricultural communities evolved into urban, industrialized ones. We continued to see an increase in our human population. We had reached 1 billion by the year 1804. Before 1927, we had reached 2 billion. In addition, the size of the world's population has been steadily increasing since the 1960s, reaching a point where it is presently greater than 8 billion people. Now, there is a new danger that threatens the existence of humans as well as a great number of other forms of life on this planet. Climate change is occurring. The global temperature and sea level are both increasing, while the biodiversity of the planet is decreasing. In the event that things do not change, we might be on the approach of experiencing another mass extinction event.